everyone, so today we're going to be reviewing the Subaru BRZ. Just a little bit about the car if you didn't already know. Toyota and Subaru both collaborated to make the BRZ and GT86 equivalent. Now they're quite similar cars if you couldn't already tell, minus a few differences in the headlights, the front bumper, the grille, a little bit of weight difference and the head unit and things like that. But overall, they're very similar cars. The engines are the same as are the specs. So today we're going to go for a drive in the BRZ and see how it goes. Alright, so before we get going, we're going to have a look at the interior of the car. So we've got the upgraded Eclipse system here, but the stock BRZs get that horrible little black display with the little green screen that doesn't really tell you much. I mean, when you're getting a car in 2016, you expect at least a color display. So this one's got it, and it's pretty good. It's got Bluetooth, it connects to your USB, it's got a rear view camera, which has got the guidelines and everything, and it's got DVD and all that stuff. So that's stock standard in this system that Subaru puts in for you. Now it's got the usual dual climate, start-stop button, and the cool little kill switches. It's got the nice leather black and red stitching on some of the trim, but the rest is just fabric. But the interior is okay. I mean, you don't really expect much for a sports car like this, so it's good as it is now. Now if we're looking at the back seats, don't expect to fit in them. Simply put, they call it a 4-seater car, but it's pretty much a 2.5-seater car. The back seats are tiny. I've had a friend sit in there when we had one in the back and one in the front, and it's quite difficult. You don't want to be going on road trips with someone sitting in the back. I mean, if they're over 6 foot tall as well, poor things to them, that's all I can say. So let's take it for a spin. So we're going to start with the good and the bad. Now, first off, it's rear-wheel drive. For any of those car fanatics out there, rear-wheel drive is the way to go. I mean, all-wheel drive's great, but if you're going around corners, you don't want any understeer, rear-wheel drive is perfect. And because of that, because it's rear-wheel, it's so low, it's so nimble, it's so light, around corners, it's pretty much like a go-kart. It glues around corners. I mean, yes, it's not that fast off the line, but if you're going around corners, it is wondrous. Alright, so in relation to the engine, it is a 4-cylinder 2-litre, which isn't anything to be wowed at, but it does have 147 kilowatts of power, which comes in at 7,000 RPM and 205 Newton meters at 6,600. Now 147 kilowatts is good, and because you don't have that turbo lag, you get that power straight away. You don't have to wait for the turbo to kick in, it just goes, which is what you want with a light, nimble sports car. And the Subaru CEO pretty much said, we don't want to put a turbo in because it defeats the purpose of the raw driving experience. We don't want to wait for turbo lag, plus it adds extra weight that they didn't want to add to this car. Now this car redlines at 7,450 RPM. Now for a cheap sports car like this, that is pretty cool. You put your foot to the ground and it just keeps going and going and going and then changes gears finally later, which is really awesome. You also get paddle shift gearbox, which is pretty cool. Let's say you want to overtake someone and you want to drop down a gear or two, you just down, down, go. And the good thing is the gearbox actually goes back into automatic after you shifted down 2 gears. So let's say you just want to shift down 2, get past someone, you don't have to worry about going up again and up again, it'll just go straight into automatic for you, which I think is a really cool feature. Now the boxer engine. Subaru is infamous for their boxer engines. So pretty much what that means is their cylinders, instead of being upwards or in a V, they're actually horizontally facing each other like a boxer, pretty much. So they've got 2 and 2 facing each other. And Subaru says that they do this, especially for this car, because it brings the engine whole bay down a considerable amount, which makes the center of gravity much better. Now this car's got a 53/47 weight distribution, which is pretty good. I mean, it's near supercar weight distribution, and I mean, I love that about it. Now we're going to move on to a few of the bad things that we don't like about the car. First off, the Prius tires. Everyone knows about how horrible and thin and small they are. I mean, they're only about 215 millimeters wide. So you look at them and they're not even as wide as some other stock hatchbacks or anything like that. Also, because the tires aren't that wide, they can't take a lot, especially with the firm suspension. If you're going on a road that's slightly bumpy, you're gonna feel everything. I know a lot of people out there say, oh no, it's fine, you'll get used to it. I've been driving this car for a while now, and I'll tell you, if you can take the hit, brilliant. But you will feel every single bump on this road. Also, the bucket seats. They're not bad. I mean, it takes a while to get used to. You really just have to sit around, take a few drives, see which one's comfy, but they're not as comfy as they could be. Especially if you're doing long trips in it, they're gonna start feeling a bit achy on you. Now the thing is about this car is it is very low, obviously, which means going over humps and driveways is not fun. When the people behind me are just thinking, look at this guy in his sports car going 10 kilometers an hour over a hump, probably even 5Ks. Driveways are not fun either. You're gonna have to approach it really acutely and go up because no one wants to hear the scrape of the bottom of the front bumper. If you take care of your car, you know that's the most annoying thing. The back seats, horrible. You will fit no one in there. I mean, if you're at least 5 to 6 foot tall, you'll be okay. But if you're over 6 foot tall, you're not gonna have any fun sitting in there. So win shotgun so you can sit at the front. Even for me, I'm about 6 foot tall and I'm in the driver's seat and I've got it all the way back the seat. No one can fit behind me pretty much. But in saying that, I've got a decent amount of room here. So it's not bad if you've got no one in the back. You just have you here and a passenger there, no worries at all. But as soon as you need someone in the back, that's when problems start to happen. I love this car. Every time I come out, I look at it, it just gives me a smile. I mean, it's a great looking car, got a great engine. The boxer rumble is amazing. If you don't know what the boxer rumble is, it's basically the configuration of the engine, which is the boxer, as you already know. And because it's got unequal length headers, it pretty much creates a rumble when it goes in the exhaust. It's only a 2 litre, but it's a nice little consolation prize. Now, driving this every day for the last few weeks, I can't say I love it. A lot of people look at you, especially in a red one, but it does get annoying. You feel every bump in the road, you don't want to go over humps or driveways, your back is screeched into the chair, but it's a BRZ. And you got to be ready for that when you're going to buy it. It's just a matter of, can you deal with the annoyingness of the car and the impracticality of it to make it an everyday car? So you got to not be naive and say to yourself, can I live with it? And while at the start you might be really excited, over time when you're driving it day after day, can you live with all the annoyances? So that's what you got to think about. But I love the car as it is. It has been one of the smoothest gearbox. But I must say, I love the car as it is. It's one of the smoothest gearboxes. No clunkiness at all. When you're braking, especially when you come into a stop, you can't feel a thing. It feels like it's one speed. So overall, I do recommend this car because I love Japanese engineering. I love how reliable they are. I love how they can get so much power out of such a small engine. All in all, it is a reliable, beautiful, fun, nibbly car. I mean, economy-wise, you're going to be looking at pretty much what it says, which is quite odd because they're always wrong about what they say about figure numbers. On the motorway, you'll easily get 5-6 litres per 100, but in the city, it's going to be about 8 to 9 litres at best, possibly even up to 10 litres per 100 if you're driving it a little harder. So it's not bad, it's pretty much like a Corolla, but you get a really cool car with it. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, comment. Would love to hear your feedback.